Hi, my name is Linsdau. I'm a polar explorer and motivational speaker. Is it possible to climb one of the most famous mountains in Europe after you've lost both your arms and your legs to become a quadruple amputee? Yes, it is possible, and I'm going to tell you the story about the person who did it. So I got an email the other day from Explorers Web. They're the best and only expedition news site in the world that is dedicated to expedition information. And I was thumbing through the stories and I found one that just blew my socks off. I was reading about the story. Here, I'll show you the picture, right? Okay, there is the climber and there is his guide. This man's name is Jamie Andrew. Okay, let me show you this picture again. You might notice something about Mr. Andrew's hands. It looks like he has gloves on, but you'll notice his legs there. You better believe it. Mr. Andrew lost his part of his legs and part of his arms due to a frostbite incident on Mount Blanc a couple of years before. He climbed the freaking Matterhorn, a 4,000 meter, which translates to 17,000 feet, peak in Europe as one of his dreams. And he didn't have hands, and I don't know if I can kick my leg up. Yeah, he didn't have feet. Now, as a motivational speaker, I love to share these stories with you. I mean, it almost gets me teared up just thinking about it. That someone who could face challenges, to be out in the most extreme environments on Earth, and on high mountains and frozen and super tough conditions, could sustain such a severe injury and decide, you know what, I'm going to come back and I'm going to do what I'm going to do even when I've lost part of my arms and part of my legs. Now, the whole story, I'm going to put a link below to Jamie Andrews' ascent. It took him 13 hours in total, and that was in August. So ideally, I mean, you can see in the picture here that there isn't any snow there. But sometime before, he lost limbs on Mount Blanc, another famous mountain in Europe. Now, it looks like, oh, that's just a rocky climb, it's no big deal. Au contraire, a couple of climbers. Like a super short time before Jamie, or Mr. Andrew, Jamie, we'll call him Jamie, did his climb, they got trapped up there in the cold. They weren't fully equipped to deal with it, and they actually lost their lives. Now, why am I telling you this? Well, first, before I tell you that, if you could just take a moment, look on your phone there, and you can see there's a little subscribe button in the bottom right of the video. If you could hit the subscribe button either inside the video or on the bottom, that would totally help my channel out. That way I can keep bringing you these reviews, travel tips and tricks and hacks and inspiration and motivation to you. It just makes it so much easier. So if you wouldn't mind, just hit the subscribe. Doesn't cost you anything, but it certainly helps me out, and I would greatly appreciate that. So as a motivational speaker, I love talking about these stories. I mean, I'm like a total crazy nutcase. Let me grab my book here. I'll show you. Here's my book, Antarctic Tears. I'll put a link below if you want to check it out. But I'm a dude who has asthma. I've got allergies. I didn't come from huge money, but I went and did an expedition. I skied all the way to the South Pole alone, halfway across the continent. I mean, like a crazy amount of distance by myself. Now, I only got a couple frost nips on my cheeks, so I know what that's like. But as a climber, as an adventurer, as a polar explorer, I shouldn't be out there because, oh, I've got asthma, you shouldn't be doing these things. And I think, oh, you know, that's pretty extreme. And I'm standing in front of audiences, and, you know, you look at me, I mean, I work out okay, but I'm not like, you know, Arnold Schwarzenegger or The Rock or something. I'm just a skinny dude. I mean, you know, I'm not super skinny, but, you know, you get the idea. But when I've read this story, I mean, that just takes it not to a new level, but to a new, huge, crazy level. So when you have things that happen to you, I mean, just like spectacularly bad, just imagine the worst thing that could possibly happen to you. Losing a child, losing a spouse, losing a grandparent, losing your parents, losing limbs, having a car crash, having your house burned down. I mean, there are some bad things that are going to happen in your life. And they're bad because they're bad from your perspective. You never know. I mean, if I lost a hand, I couldn't call it anything but bad. That's freaking stinking bad. However, is it possible that you can actually recover from such a severe trauma, from such an extreme loss, and still go on to do something absolutely spectacular? Yes, you can. Now, is this to belittle or demean or make the challenges in your life smaller? Like, oh, it's okay, so you lost your kid to cancer, no big deal. Absolutely not. I am in no way demeaning your challenges and the things you face. And I can't even imagine having, a child with cancer, or losing a limb, or losing my spouse in a bank robbery, in a car wreck, or to an aneurysm, or whatever. But can I imagine having things go utterly wrong and being powerless to do anything about them? You better believe it. In my expedition, I was skiing to the South Pole, and I got so sick that I coughed up blood, and I actually spat blood out coughing in Antarctica. Now, that's pretty risky because, the whole coughing up blood is really bad. But two, during that time that I coughed up blood, the weather was so bad that I couldn't have been rescued for a week. So in Antarctica, planes can't fly when the weather's bad. So if I started coughing up blood and it didn't stop and I wasn't able to get it under control, I wouldn't be standing in here telling you about my experience now. I mean, that's like coughing up blood's like a one-way ticket to, it's over. So when Jamie got stuck on Mount Blanc, he was stuck up there for days. Again, nobody could rescue him. It's not likely if he would have ever been found, except for a couple climbers found him and rescued him. And in that time, he got frostbite, not just like a fingertip frostbite, but his arms got frozen, his feet got frozen. Now, it's likely that he maybe only had part of his hand frozen from the exposure, but perhaps he developed gangrene or sepsis, and the doctors had to amputate a significant portion of his limbs. I mean, just think about that. You're an athlete. You love being outside. It's the most wondrous experience. I mean, I love being on mountains. Even when I have to turn around, like on Denali, I had to turn around twice. It's just kind of the way it works. But I'd much rather come home. Jamie got stuck up on Mount Blanc, and he wasn't able to retreat. Whatever he had with him was not adequate enough for the severity of the conditions. And as a consequence, the dude, lost limbs. Now, what I'm telling you here is that, bleep can go seriously wrong for you. And you can either choose to have the attitude of, woe is me, this stinks, I hate this, I'm going to go in my shell, and I'm never going to come out, and I'm just going to dread and drag through life. That is one choice. Or you can be like myself, where, man, I'm coughing up blood. I wouldn't say I almost died, but I was not doing very well, and my hope of round tripping to the South Pole went piff. I could have cried, I could have gave up, and I could have quit. Did I? No, I'm standing here smiling. Check this photo out. Check that out. I'll put a link to the article below. Jamie, let's see if you can see him right there. The dude is smiling. Jamie Andrew is standing on Mount Blanc, fulfilling one of his bucket list dreams, and he is smiling because even though he had such a severe injury, even though everything went wrong for him sometime before he finally completed his climb, he decided to have the attitude of positivity of like, man, I lost my hands, but I'm still alive. Can I still do stuff? You better believe it. When things go wrong, things go horrible, is it possible to recover? I'm standing as proof to tell you that yes, it is possible to recover. Is it going to be easy? No. Is it going to be heart-wrenching? You better freaking believe it. But is it possible to stand up, square your shoulders off, throw them back and say, hey, you know what? Things happen. Things happen to a lot of people on this earth. You will never get away from problems and pain in your life. But you can avoid suffering because your mental state is everything. Your attitude is everything. As a motivational speaker, I'm on platforms talking with thousands of people, telling them, look, man, let me give you a rash of entertaining stories, and entertaining because they're so just like messed up. But in the end, it shows them that, man, that guy's still standing there. Look what he can do. And that's to show you, not that to demean your problems, but to show you that it is totally possible to overcome your circumstance and achieve your dream. And even if that is standing on Mount Blanc or whatever it may be, it is utterly possible for you, that's right, you who can do these things, to do it. My name is Linsdau. I'm a polar explorer and motivational speaker. Please like and comment on my video. Hit that little arrow to the right. Scroll down. Check out the links I've got below to my book, Antarctic Tears, Lost at Windy Corner, Adventure 1, and all sorts of fun stuff, plus the link to this article. Please support my channel on Venmo and PayPal, and also support it by hitting the subscribe button. You click it, we hit it, I'll bring it more to you. Thank you very much for watching.